Welcome to Partner News Live today, May 15, 2024. Our episode will start with our usual picky news you probably won't see anywhere else or indeed want to see anywhere else. Then our primary guests today will be Lisa Papageorgiou and Larry Zaykowski. Both of them will be sharing the value proposition of OneTalk and giving you suggestions on how best to pitch OneTalk to your business clients. Then we'll be visited once again by the wonderful Shelley Stapp to highlight more of the ongoing great offers from Verizon. Sadly, for you watching the recording on YouTube, that segment will be censored. And if you want to access to that secret content, write to info@connectus.com or call us at the number that I will add to the YouTube recording. I received a couple of requests from you about my recent suggestion that we should repudiate the upcoming presidential election and instead vote for King George. Surprisingly, there are a lot of you royalists out there who seem to be in favour of a return of the monarchy. Isn't that right, Jordan? Yes, okay. But you found it strange that I did not promote King Charles as king, or even William, here in the red, William being the current heir to the throne of England, Scotland, Wales, and so on. Well, I have to tell you, I thought it was obvious why I chose the little lad. It's because this is America, and he's called George. In other breaking news, with the stress of my job beginning to overwhelm me, I thought I should relax by buying a jigsaw puzzle that would take a long time to complete. Sadly, it was a total con job. The box said 10 plus years, but the puzzle only took me a couple of days to complete. Boulder Police Department issued this Facebook post about a woman they arrested for stealing a pickup truck. She saw the keys in the ignition and tried to steal the truck. She started the engine and took off the parking brake, but couldn't drive a stick shift. While she was trying to figure out what the funny left foot pedal was for, the truck rolled into a fire hydrant. She's been charged with a felony. Further east in Massachusetts, this lady won $1 million in the Massachusetts State Lottery. Before she was able to spend any of the money, guess what? She won another $1 million on the Massachusetts State Lottery. So congratulations to Christine Wilson. I'd also like to be the first to announce her latest win. Christine, your prize of one only slightly used jigsaw puzzle is winging its way to you in a USPS priority mail package. My next news item was to be about the reported sale of US Cellular's infrastructure. Sadly, we don't have time for this today because I need to talk with you about the very serious threat to my cow-cuddling hobby. As many of you know, Jordan and I enjoy travelling to our local farm for therapeutic cow-cuddling sessions. The fees that we pay for this therapy helps our local dairy farmer afford food stocks for the cows. Unfortunately, there has been an outbreak of bird flu among dairy herds in 9 US states, and officials are advising farmers to suspend outside visitations. Shame. Waiting patiently online are our OneTalk experts to tell us about the value props that we can introduce to our conversations with existing clients and new prospects. Hello, Lisa Papageorgiou and Larry Zaykowski. Really glad to have you on today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we're talking about OneTalk today. So Lisa, would you just give us, please, a general overview of what OneTalk is?
Okay, great. So I wanted to start by saying that OneTalk is a mobile-first business communication solution. So what that means is it's beyond just having a cell phone or a smartphone. It gives you all the features and functionalities of a traditional business communication solution. It's just delivered over the Verizon wireless network. What it's ideal for is if you look at small businesses today and if you look at how employees work today, are they frontline workers? Are they mobile workers? Do they work remotely? Are they hybrid, or primarily in the office? So basically One Talk has been almost purpose built to address the workplace that we have today, because you can use smartphones, you can use cell phones, desk phones, tablets. It really helps connect all of those those ways to access your, or to be connected to your phone system through up to 8 different devices. So it's really ideal for today's workplace, and it gives you all the features and functionality that keep your employees productive and keep your customers, gives your customers the ability to reach you and to stay engaged. So that's really why it's more than just a cell phone. It's got the functionalities and the capabilities that businesses need today.
Could you give me an example of what some of these 8 devices might be?
So, for example, if I'm an employee and I'm going to be a frontline worker, so I'm out in the field all the time. So, if I'm only working on my cell phone, I'm separate from the company's main solution, right? Whereas if I have a One Talk enabled smartphone, that means I could, number one, if I'm calling somebody, my business number goes out, not my personal phone number. If the company has call routing, so that if a customer calls and they need to reach me, calls could automatically route to me and my phone number, even though it's my smartphone. I can also be part of a hunt group. So, if I'm actually out there and I'm in the middle of fixing a pipe, or I'm in the middle of doing my job and I can't get to the phone, my coworkers who are also in that same hunt group could pick up that phone as well. So the idea is that customer calls can get picked up. They don't have to get a voicemail and I'll call you later when I have time. So it really has better call coverage. It's better call routing. If I'm out in the field and I need to connect to my coworker because I have a technical question, I could set up a video call right there, and show them my environment and get their help. So it's really about collaboration and connecting with customers, really from any work location.
Lisa, I want to ask you more about the main value propositions in just a moment, but you've already talked about the hunt group. And, I know from our partners that this generally tends to be one of the best selling points they can talk about, because I know that there is concern that if somebody is looking for a new business to help them, they're going to go to Google or Bing. They're going to look for the first result that comes back, and they're going to call that person, that business. And if they go to, typically, that if it goes to voicemail, they just hang up and go to the next one down the list. Are you telling me that the hunt group is a way for these small businesses and enterprise customers to make sure it's a human being that answers the telephone to inbound calls?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, if I'm an owner of a business and I'm out dealing with clients all the time, well, I can have my back office, either my secretary, it could be my partner, my wife, whatever. It could be whoever I have as backup. It could be other employees that are actually sitting in the office can be answering that phone while I'm out working.
So to add to that, we have something very unique where you can, with messaging, with SMS, text messaging, you can actually incorporate that into the hunt group too. So if somebody's sending you a message, it could get distributed out, in all the different, types of distribution to the rest of that hunt group, in addition to just the voice going through.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, Larry, if you can also go to the dashboard, the administration's webpage for the solution within the business, and set up a hunt group specifically to receive SMS messages that are inbound as well.
Yeah, it could be one or both, actually. So yeah, exactly. So let's say that you have a situation where you have customers sending texts that they are in the parking lot and they're saying, "I'm here. Can you bring my order out, please?" No phone calls needed. They just send a text to whatever number you specify, and you can have curbside service as one example, right? A lot of people like using text, especially different generations. Prefer using text to communicate, and it's very static, so you see it, you see it later, you can reply back to it and so forth. But that can get distributed among the hunt group members also.
And so anyone in that hunt group could reply directly to that SMS, and everyone
That's right.
else in that group would see both the inbound and the outbound reply.
Correct. Yeah, because we're tied to the mobile network. I mean, that's a key value of One Talk. Everything is built within our network. So not that communications don't go over the internet with VoIP, right? I mean, that you can set it up that way. But within our network, because it's wireless, a lot of the feature functionality with One Talk is very similar to what you would do with a mobile phone. And that's one example.
While we're on this topic, you mentioned VoIP just a moment ago, Larry. One of the concerns amongst our partners when we talk about VoIP is the fact that there can be a long latency, a long lag time as the call goes to a particular server and then it comes back through
That's right.
the wireless system from that server, and it's kind of like I think it's a bit like communicating from the television sports studio to the satellite to the sports
Hmm.
field and back again, when responses seem to take a very long laggy time. Does that tend to is this a differentiator that our partners can talk about when they're pitching One Talk as opposed to VoIP
Absolutely.
solutions?
Yeah, so One Talk is VoIP, but it's also cellular driven, right? So as I mentioned a moment ago, it's built within our network. So within the LTE, it's an IP core, multimedia service
Mhm.
within Verizon Wireless. It's not going out to a cloud service. It's within the Verizon network, which doesn't mean that because somebody's using AT&T or T-Mobile or whoever else that the communications aren't happening the same way. They are. The difference is that when you're using a phone, a desk phone or a mobile phone, you can make sure that it's set up where it's going over the network channel and not going over the general internet like a lot of VoIP calls happen. Most VoIP calls, definitely in the SMB space, are going over the internet and not over private IP. So to your point, you have the cloud infrastructure, you have a packet-driven type of communication, which
Yes,
not getting into the technical details. That's what happens, and you can have that latency or that chattering of calls. You're
yes,
not going
yes.
to get that when you drive the calls over the voice channel of a network or our data channel of the network. So it's a
Actually,
key differentiator, and it is called out in the sales presentations too.
So another point about that, another reason that these calls go, the system being delivered over the Verizon wireless network is that start to finish, this is a Verizon solution. So the hardware comes from Verizon. The network is, we own and manage that network. So we have all the security that's built into it. We provide the hardware, we provide the service, we provide the billing, we provide the support afterwards. So a lot of particularly VoIP solutions out there, one company is providing all the UCAS feature functionality and someone else is providing the internet connection. So what happens when something goes wrong? Or you get a new firmware, or your router has an issue, or the network goes down and you've got companies pointing at each other. It's them. No, it's not.
mm,
With Verizon, we are responsible for the entire service from the beginning to the end.
and that's got to be a very good value proposition for our partners to pitch.
Yeah.
One face, one contact point, if you
Yeah.
like. Somebody in one of my other videos just last week talked about one throat to choke, which I'd
Right.
never heard before. But that's a nice little segue for me, Lisa. When
Mhm.
it comes to that first conversation, where I know that our partners are meeting with an existing customer or perhaps a new prospect, and they only have time to pitch maybe 5 to 10 solutions during a relatively short conversation. What are the best value propositions for One Talk that our partners should lead with?
Well, I always, my problem is when I believe when you're talking to a customer, you have to start by understanding what their needs are. So you're
Hmm.
going to start and you're going to ask them, well, how do your employees communicate today? What challenges do they have? Because you're going to find out that, hey, if they're out of the office, they're disconnected, or customers can't reach them. So when you're finding out how their employees work, how they communicate, and what challenges they have, that immediately ties you. And, that's an immediate, hey, One Talk is built for this. And, so we talked about the feature functionality earlier that make it worthwhile for customers, but the way that we do it different from our competition is really, like we talked about, it's about the network. It's a native dialing experience. So if you're on your cell phone and you're used to hitting that green phone icon to make your phone call, you can do that today. It's easy, it's flexible, it's simple. But behind that green button, you've got 50 more, features and functionality that allow you to be connected. So I think that those are some big points. Another thing that we like to bring up that differentiates us from the competition and stays with the mobile theme is for the last few years now, we've been the only provider out there that provides a wireless desk phone. So we have a 4G LTE desk phone. So what that means is even for your office employees, you don't have to put wires. You don't have to worry about your router. I'm getting a firm update. Hopefully that won't knock my voice communications down. Or, I'm running all these apps and now my bandwidth has slowed everything down. So really it's about mobility, mobile workers, mobile network, mobile capabilities. And I think we have one of the strongest stories out there, if that's really what customers are looking for. So getting to understand customers, employee behavior, their mobility needs is a perfect segue into the One Talk features and functionality.
So, Lisa, I know that One Talk's been out there now for almost 8 years, and it's had quite a lot of success selling to smaller businesses or small SMBs and smaller enterprises. Could you give us some examples, please, of the kinds of businesses that have leapt upon this and have been using One Talk for this time?
Yeah, so the great thing about One Talk is it's really a good fit pretty much for every vertical that's out there. Every small business, especially if you have mobile workers, if you have frontline workers, that's really a fit that goes across all the verticals. But some specific areas where we shine, think of like construction companies. Where are you? You're out at a job site. And there's no infrastructure there. It's not like I'm going to go into the building on the construction site and answer my wired phone solution. It's you're in transit, you're out in the open. You often need to collaborate with your coworkers. You need to understand where your suppliers are. And, there's a lot of people you need to interact with, and you're out of the office. So that's a perfect example. Distribution, same thing. Anybody who's in a vehicle and using tablets, your tablet could be connected and it could be your phone device. So if you're making shipments and dropping off and you need to coordinate with others, it's great. As well as, take a look at the service industry, plumbers, professional services. If you look at the hotel, the hospitality industry, the common thread is frontline mobile, a good example for supermarkets is for curbside pickup, as an example that Larry brought up earlier. Your customers are out in the parking lot and they need to reach you. And if you had a mobile solution, you can go back and forth and stay in communication with them. So I don't know, Larry, if you thought of any other ones to add to it.
So many. I mean, you nailed quite a few excellent ones, and those examples kind of transfer to other types of industries, as you mentioned. One other way to look at it, with One Talk, you have an option where, let's say, you have seasonal employees, or you have highly transient force and a lot of BYOD, whatever type of phone and whatever carrier that your employees are using, and you want them to be utilizing a business line. So with One Talk, you can provide them via either an app or a second line on the device that is a business phone. It's your business entity too. So when a customer calls, they're not just calling some employee's personal line, and when an employee calls out, it's going out from the business number. And you can also have that business name being sent out to the customer too. With the ID. So it allows a lot more flexibility for the business to run their communications properly, be able to move those lines as needed to other employees as they transition out, or as seasons change, or whatever it may be. One thing I always say is that with One Talk, don't just think of Verizon Wireless and mobile. It is a business communication system. It's just focused on mobile because that's who we are, and that's where the world is too. So
And that's
if
the
any
preferred technology, right?
exactly,
Right.
exactly. And as Lisa said, we are the only provider in the United States that has a mobile, or not mobile, but a cellular desk phone. We have two of them actually, and we developed these things along with Yealink. They're
Mhm.
exclusive to us, and you can just put them on the desk anywhere, plug it in with the AC, plug it in, not Ethernet and
No,
connecting to a
no.
Wi-Fi or anything like that, and you have a phone that is going to work. So as Lisa mentioned, in construction, any type of retail, any type of and those aren't necessarily mobile, right? I mean, it's just put them there and go. And the good thing about it also is that there's not a lot of infrastructure issues, right? So you're not wiring anything. You're not worrying about removing panels and ceilings or going through walls, whatever it may be. So it decreases the complexity of having to deploy the solution. Multi
Yes.
location businesses, right? Yeah, we're focused on small business, but there are many big companies and medium sized companies as well as small companies that have multiple locations. Think about retail. Think about car rental. Think about labs. All these companies have multiple small locations with a few devices, and some are desk phones, some may be mobile phones,
Yes.
smartphones. There's another example, but it's really any type of business that is utilizing either voice messaging or other types of collaboration, and bringing it together with smartphones and desk phones and computers and tablets and any option that an end user wants. So we make it very simple.
So, Larry, can you go into a little bit more depth about, let's say that this particular small business has got three locations. How would we make One Talk work with the one, for example, corporate inbound number, the 1-800 number, for example?
Well, you could treat something like that, an entity like that, as just one business. It really doesn't matter where they are, and that's how One Talk is designed, especially the mobility side of it. And that
Hmm.
mobility doesn't mean just a smartphone, right? It could mean a PC at different locations. We talked about different types of desk phones. We have the cellular desk phones, but we
Yes.
have the regular, VoIP. Plug it into an Ethernet, RJ45 connector is everybody's familiar with, or Wi-Fi to a router. Any of those options are available. So what you're able to do is manage everything from one location with each of the different instances of your business. It makes it very, very easy. You could do it from, of course, an app on a phone, or you can do it from a web interface.
And another thing to add to that is that One Talk is a service that covers the entire United States. So a lot of businesses that we talk to, you might have three or four locations. They might be across three or four different carriers, right? So they have different plans, they have different pricing, they have different, getting a line connected in one location and it might have been on a promo 3 years ago, and now you're paying for, service there. So when you think about it, with One Talk, you have one price, one number, one solution that covers you everywhere in the country. So you're not having to deal with you don't need aggregators to bring all your lines together and stuff like that. So it could be very cost effective when you've got multiple locations, especially when they're with different carriers.
Let's just imagine a worst case scenario where the SMB has got so few personnel staff members that the Hunt Group has tried to call this group of people and no one has answered, and the customer is probably ready to give up. Yeah,
Or
let's say the question has been asked by the AI receptionist.
Mhm.
Would you like to be put through to customer service, to IT, to sales? And so it goes to the IT group, but ultimately no one answers because the three people, for example, in the Hunt group are just happen to be very busy in that moment.
Mhm.
Could we have an outgoing recorded message at the point that's specific to that Hunt group?
Yeah, I think that gets to some of the features we talked about yesterday, Larry, with
Yeah.
different ways to have messaging on hold. So
Mhm.
if you can provide a pre-recorded message that everyone would hear, you could have, if you actually answer a call and put them on hold, you can have other messages that they hear. So there are multiple ways using the features and functionalities within OneTalk to be able to give them pertinent information to help that hold be less painful.
Yeah, that's a good point, Lisa. So having that message on hold while they're waiting, and then once it gets transferred, let's say they get pushed into a voicemail, which is going to happen on occasion. You have the ability to have something recorded on that voicemail, some more information, whatever you choose as as you want to do for your business.
Sounds good. Larry, when we first started talking a few moments ago, you mentioned being able to have video conversations within the business between staff members. Could you go into more detail on that, please?
So with OneTalk, you can have one-to-one video, with your customers, but video, it's not designed for group collaboration with video.
Right.
That's not the way OneTalk was designed.
Perfect example of that is I might be out at a customer location and I need to get some technical support from someone back in my office. I could just make a video call to that person. I could show them the environment I'm in, and I can get on the spot. I can have them, give me the advice of what it is I need to do. So I can get their expert opinion via video.
Yeah, from a one-to-one perspective, absolutely. One thing we have found, especially with the type of specific channels that we sell into, the type of markets we sell into, if you need or want video for your business, you typically are going to go to whatever type of video or specialized video that's for. Like, for example, there are video providers that specialize in what you just mentioned. So those who have a like technical support or an in field type of support video infrastructure. There's some applications out there that, like, for example, in the HVAC business, there are actually providers that sell solutions specific to that. They're not in the voice business; it's just for collaboration at that level. And what we found were a lot of the customers out there that we were going after really weren't using any video that we had. They were using what they already have, and then they use us for the audio, the voice, as well as the messaging side of it.
Okay. Thank you both very much. We've only got a couple of minutes left. So, Lisa, I wonder, now that our partners have had an opportunity to mull over some of these questions you've answered for us just now, could you go over again what you believe would be the best value props? What should we pitch first when we're talking for the first time with, say, an existing customer?
So I think you go to that existing customer. Our base customers are far more likely, if they're an existing Verizon Wireless customer, they're far more willing to make that jump into OneTalk. We have a pretty strong, correlation between our OneTalk customers and our Verizon customers.
Mm-hmm.
So go to your existing customers, ask about how do their employees communicate today, and find out what their challenges are, because they're likely to be mobile, they're likely to be hybrid, they're likely to, they want that seamless communications, they want that high quality HD voice, and they want to be able to work from any location. And we're designed specifically to do that better than most other unified communications solutions. And because of all we talked about with the network enables us to do that better than most of our competitors.
Fantastic. Lisa Papageorgiou and Larry Zaykowski, thank you very much for coming on today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
But guess what? We're not done yet. Also waiting online is my good friend Shelley Stapp. Before we join her, let me just remind folks watching on YouTube that only Connectus partners get to see the secret stuff, so your screen will go dark for a moment.
Hey, Shelley, great to see you.
It's great to see you too. It's great to see everybody again.
So, what are we talking about today?
Well, I'm glad to see everyone again. And I wanted you all to remember that last time I highlighted 5 of the great smartphone offers running throughout the second quarter. And if you missed these, please go to the Partner News Live page on myconnectus.com to view the recording. or take the shortcut by the URL partnernewslive.com, all one word, and that URL redirects you to the right page. For today, Neil, I'd like to focus on the Q2 offers that everyone can be cross-selling right now. Back to you, Neil.
Fantastic, Shelley. Thank you. So will we see you again next time?
Yes, I would love that. I would love to update everyone with great news.
Fantastic. I look forward to that, Shelley. Thanks again. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
So there you have it for today. My thanks to Lisa Papageorgiou, Larry Zaykowski, and Shelley Stapp. And thank you all for watching. We'll see you again on May 29. Take care.